Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So today's video is going to be full run in Alliance Quest Map 7. Now first part of it is going to be a voiceover from my live stream on last night, just because I started making you live. So as you can see, you're going to be able to see my face there, but I am voicing it over. Anyways, so at the beginning of the quest I go to path 1 basically, and this week the nodes is what's mine is yours, I believe. And basically it functions is whenever you place a weakness on an opponent, you gain a fury buff. If you have that fury buff, it increases your attack by 60%. However, if you do not have a fury buff active because of this effect, and it ignores all other kind of like fury buffs you gain normally, then you deal 25% of the damage you normally would. So in earlier days you can out damage the node without needing like a weakness on opponent, but in later days you're gonna really need champions that either A, place weakness on opponent, or B, run Resonate Mastery, because Resonate Mastery plays weakness on opponent, and then you can pretty much use any champion you want. So here we're having a Mordo fight, second fight in the lane. And I believe in the end here I'm gonna get slightly lucky, because I will get him to 3 bars of power, but he's gonna hesitate for a moment to shoot it, and that's gonna be enough for me to kill him. As you can see here, yeah, we did land a heavy attack, which was very nice and all, but now we need to bait out that level 2 from him, which he's fairly grudging this time. And now that we throw the level we throw heavy attack, but he's already at 3 bars of power. So now there we shoot off a level 2 with Ghost, and that is enough to kill him off. So this fight I definitely got lucky. It could have went really badly really quickly. And for this entire quest I'm going to be using Namor, Hyperion and Ghost. So for first section I typically just take in Ghost. Fortunately I will mess up with Ghost, and she's going to be super low health when it can come to the rest of the map, so I'm gonna have to be like really careful where and when I can use Ghost later on. But anyway, so War Machine is another like alright matchup here for Ghost, just because that level 2 can help us gain a lot of power. Unfortunately there we made a slip up and we had to block the level 1, and yeah, that wasn't a perfect start, but overall it's not too big of a deal. We just need to kind of get to him, drop our own level 2, then we can phase his level 1, get a lot of power as we're doing here, and just basically rinse and repeat. So the plan is to bait out his level 1s, phase a bunch of hits, get to level 2s quickly. Unfortunately we're not getting any weaknesses from Resonate, and that means we're only dealing 25% of our damage that we would do normally, which is quite annoying, because if he had 1 weakness buff and with extension 1 fury buff, he would have been dead a long time ago. But anyways, so he goes down right about now. Ghost still looking super healthy. It is going to be Spider-Gwen. Now, the Spider-Gwen is still noded, but quite often I am fairly impatient when it comes to clearing my AQ later at night, and so in many cases I just go in and deal with that Spider-Gwen while she's noded. Typically it does go alright, and here I will make a mistake and need to combo, but that's not because of the node, because the node is basically giving her more health and placing Incinerate on us. So in itself we don't care about that Incinerate, that simply gave us an extra fury, but there I failed an intercept, got hit twice, and that wasn't good. So now we're already like really low health in section 1 with Ghost, but it's alright. We are going to survive this fight, and we're going to be able to use Ghost in a few more upcoming fights. But here, as you can see, that Spider-Gwen is really bulky. She's 61 kpi. This is day 2 of Alliance Quest, and it's also like in an Alliance that has a really high prestige, so these champions are getting more and more stacked every day. So probably in later days it's definitely not a good idea to do these fights noded, but it is what it is. So when fighting Spider-Gwen with Ghost, it's kind of important to stick to one-hit combos, because your critical hits can't be evaded, and Spider-Gwen has a really big evade chance when she builds up her charges, and she does in every single fight as you land hits on her. So yeah, we do need to stick to one hit, and kind of like in order to be safe that she does not evade us, because if she does, things can get very hairy very quickly. And yeah, so it is a fairly tricky, I suppose, fight, but here we have a Fury on, we dropped a level 2, unfortunately it didn't quite kill her, and now we're on 6% health with Ghost in section 1, so we're like, well, yeah, that's not great stuff, that's definitely not the best start, but we will still be able to do some fights with Ghost regardless, without using items, without dying. So now we're moving on to Falcon. Falcon is pretty much the last fight of my contribution in section 1. And we're going to be using Namor for that fight. We typically do still use Ghost here, but in this case our Ghost is on its last leg, so Namor it is. And Namor has a class advantage here, and we can still all transfer the suicide damage over to Falcon, so we should be having a fairly good amount of time. And I believe we are going to kill him even before we get to the level 3. Like we can see here, all the damage from suicide is pretty much being transferred to Falcon. We use it also to heal ourselves up, so we will be able to pretty much finish the fight off at full health. And I think here I finish off with level 3, even though I didn't have to, but we're still at 100%. And that is kind of cool, because yeah, Namor can rock suicides really well. There wasn't any kind of specific path that I needed Namor for. I just threw him in there as a filler, because he can be useful for so many fights. He might not do them perfect, but he can definitely kind of be extremely versatile champion in many different scenarios, as I am about to show you guys in section 2. But as I said, so that was it for my contribution in section 1. At this point I basically go to sleep, then I wake up in the next morning, the mini boss is down, and I just need to go up and clear my path in section 2. So in section 2 my path is number 1 again, and that is Incinerate path this week. Last week it was like Freezer Burn on it, and then I forget what else is there on it. It's not overly difficult or long path really there. Now because our Ghost is a really low health, I'm just going to be taking in Namor. Now I know Namor is not Incinerate immune, however he takes no damage and he transfers the damage on opponents while we're attacking them. So if we are lucky enough and baiting out special attacks from opponents, we are going to be able to reflect most of the damage from the node to opponents. Unfortunately here he doesn't really want to throw the special attack, so we are eating quite a bit of damage, much more than I would like to, just because he wasn't really happy throwing his special 2. But other than that, Namor can work to a reasonable extent for a couple of fights on any of these kind of like Incinerate, Bleed, Poison, or Shock, or what have you path, just because of his ability to transfer damage that he would be taking instead to the opponent. Now we finish the fight off with level 2 and get a few % heal in that way as well. And now we're going to move on to the next fight, and it's going to be Gwenpool. We're going to be using Namor once again. We are thereabouts at about 50% health on Namor, so we should be alright. Now my path in section 3 is going to be path 1 again, and it has like that annoying strength in numbers node basically, so I need to make sure all my champions are alive when I start section 3, otherwise I'm going to have a really difficult time dealing with it. So here once again we're just bashing at Gwenpool as much as we can. We're hitting her block and hoping that she's going to throw level 2 attack in a timely manner. Unfortunately she does not, and she chooses to lunge at us, so we are spending quite a bit of time eating the damage from the Incinerate node. But all in all, as we can see, we are surely going to survive it. Now we once again get into offensive. We are able to transfer the damage from the node to Gwenpool, and we're going to be able to finish off the fight shortly here. So that was like a fairly easy fight. Now we did lose some health to the node, but it isn't anything overly difficult. And now last fight on here is going to be the Yondu. Now I do not want to take in my Namor because I doubt I'm going to survive it. It's also a class disadvantage. Hyperion would be a bad time as well because he's not Incinerate immune. So we're going in with our 6% Ghost. And basically, so long as the fight goes alright, we shouldn't have too much of a trouble. As you can see here, we got 3 of the big crits in with 3 passive Furies active, and he's already at 37%. Now I just need to be careful, close out the fight, and we should be alright. So now unfortunately he didn't play in us, and we ended up having to wait until our phase can be activated again, but we did it and we finished the fight still at our like 6%, so Ghost and couple % still turns out to be quite an MVP here. So now at this point I'm moving, and what I can see here that Omega Red is taken down once again, which it might as well, because my Ghost is super low health and I wouldn't be doing all that great against him this time. And now we're going to our path, so it has strength in numbers and colorblind. Basically what those nodes do is we have to make sure each champion in our team is from different class, and we also need to make sure that all of them are alive, otherwise we would receive like a bunch of negative effects and stuff. And so here we have perfectly healthy Hyperion, which is who we're going to use to take down this Modok, because it should be a really easy fight here for Hyperion, because we're just going to spam a bunch of heavy attacks, drop a level 3 attack, and that's going to be all she wrote. We got super lucky with our RNG, we were on like 11 Furies, so this level 3 is going to hit like a tank, and Modok is going to go down. And yeah, this fight is over, so far so good. So a couple of our champions are looking a bit down in the dumps, but other than that, we're doing alright. Like, we haven't used a single item so far, so that's always a good thing, especially on this like last section 3, because if we had lost any champion whatsoever, we would have to revive them just because Kabam said so, basically, because of strength in numbers node. And now we have to deal with an Iceman, so at this point we have 1400 health left on our Ghost, and I'm like, yeah, let's do it, why not? And once again, Ghost is perfect for this, just because we can convert that Cold Snap into a Fury. Now we did parry by accident, and that did kind of nearly stop my heart for a second, but it's okay, we still have 5% health left. That parry damage wasn't that big, and at this point we pretty much only have to finish out the fight. We eat up, and yeah, so we basically phased through a level 1. I was trying to remember if I throw a level 2 there or not, but I decided to be safe and I didn't throw it, so we just finished off with regular hits. Now we have Karnak to deal with. Now Karnak can be a bit tricky. He has power reserve on him, but the reason why he's tricky is because he shrugs off debuffs faster. That means he's kind of like Rogue, where you're like 50-50 on being able to parry heavy him. It's definitely not kind of like the ideal thing you want to do, but hey, yeah, that's what we ended up doing here anyway. So you can see here that he actually runs away from us, and we get lucky that he didn't counter us, and we did catch him on our last hit of the heavy attack. Now we dropped a level 2, he drops his level 1, we drop another level 2, because of power reserve we have plenty of power to do that, and 18 hits and the fight is over. And so we only have like one more fight left here on our path, technically, so it is Howard the Duck, and he doesn't really have anything special on him. That's just a regular Limber node there, basically, in addition to colorblind and strength in numbers. And this fight isn't actually gonna go all that perfect. I'm actually gonna eat a combo just because I'm gonna drop my level 2 too late. I mean, I will try to drop it and it's not gonna hit it on time, and I'm gonna end up shooting it in block. But anyway, so the tactic is ideal. Game plan here is fairly simple. Few heavy attacks, get some Furies up, drop some level 3 or level 2 attack, and right here I make a mistake and I drop my level 2 in a bad time, hit it in his block, so he punished me. And now I'm like, okay, we need to be careful, because if we lose the champion, then finishing off this fight without, and this quest without items is going to be hard. But at this point, we're just going to drop level 3, get those charges up on us, do some decent amount of damage. Now, I hadn't seen this Howard the Duck level 3 animation too often, so it still kind of makes me chuckle. And yeah, so we kick him back in his robot suit. And at this point he's at 37%. Now we do need to be careful, because he's going to start processing soon, and as we know, he can either regen or, what's worse, put a Thunderquack on us. Luckily we do land a parry fairly early on, and here I'm thinking I'm going to drop my level 3, and just for the kicks I'm going to activate a regen to try and regenerate a few percent before the fight is over, if Howard the Duck survives a level 3, and he does. So he has 4% health. I'm activating my regen here, and that's fine. We're going to heal up a few percent. But unfortunately, due to the global node, he has also gone unblockable. So I'm like, okay, this is getting a bit dicey, and let's just finish this out. And yeah, that's pretty much my path done. Now we're moving on to the boss. I am gonna get in a few hits with Ghost against the boss, but we are gonna mess up. He isn't really gonna cooperate with me, and I'm gonna end up eating a level 3. So now I'm basically just checking what kind of nodes they have active, and which people do I need to tag. So I ended up tagging everybody online who I needed to, and a few moments later all the nodes were down, and then we're gonna go in and have a bit of a fun time against Thanos. But yeah, we're not gonna do much damage to him. But with that, this video is going to be more or less over. So we did manage to go through entire quest without any items, which is quite awesome. Happy days. Always a good day when that happens. And yeah, that is going to be me done for today. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, do not forget to hit that like button, hit that sub button, hit all the buttons, and I'm going to catch you guys soon. Meanwhile, you can just check out how I get wrecked by this Thanos.